sick last week, so
Yeah,
I understand that.
everybody's getting sick. I have strep throat, and so my tonsils are like, bleh,
Oh my god.
swollen.
I haven't had strep throat
Yeah.
since I was a kid, knock on wood.
Well, a shitty man gave it to me, and we don't speak about him anymore.
The shitty
No!
man?
That dude that I was messaging you about, Blake, yeah, him. Gave it
Let
to
me tell you how the only thing men give you is
Just
pain,
pain and
disease.
suffering, yes.
Like,
Yes.
Hey, it's hard to find
nothing
a good
ever.
one. I was lucky to snag a good one, but there are days I just wanna, like, be like, "Grr."
How long have you guys been together?
Hang on. We've been together 13 years, and we will be married 11 May 16th.
Wow. Well, happy
Wow.
anniversary.
So love exists. Love
Well,
is
thank
real
you.
still, Blake. We got we
It
got
is.
so
It is a lot of it's fairy tales and butterflies, but it's also hard work. So,
right. Yeah.
All I've known is hard work. So
Yep.
I'm excited for the trip.
no.
Same. Same.
I'm looking forward to the fairy tales and butterflies part of this.
Same.
It
That's
you'll
also
it'll happen. When I found my husband, I wasn't even looking for him. Like, I was like, I just gave up on
everyone
relationships,
says
and
that,
then
but I gave up like
mhm.
8 years ago.
No, no. He will be there. Your knight in shining armor's there. He's just stuck in a tree, okay?
Okay,
You'll find
okay.
him.
No, I hope it's knights, plural. Let it be my knights,
Oh,
double.
yes.
Knights, okay,
I'm trying to
okay.
live my reverse harem life, okay?
Oh, if
Hey,
that's
I
an
mean, all the
option, I'll
power to
take
you,
it.
love. Seriously,
Okay,
girl?
real quick
Good
side
for her.
note though. There was a lot of like low key kind of incestual thoughts going on between some of these
Hey,
Olympic
Greek
gods.
mythology.
Like
Oh,
Apollo talking about his sister and how attractive she was and vice versa.
Apollo is
And then
all up in
Orpheus.
everyone's business.
When I was reading Orpheus's description of Artemis, I was like, "Sir, do you love her?" Like,
oh, let
Right?
me tell you, it's in Hades real quick. Hades, I'm writing the Persephone's and Hades one, and I was like, I'm gonna try to find where Hera and Zeus are not related. Can't find it. They're both brother sister. I was like, well, not touching
Again,
that much except for brushing it if they're related, and that's it.
I mean, like, I guess you can't, honestly, when you talk about things like the Olympic gods or, the Greek gods or whatever, like, no one is gonna kind of like fault you because you didn't make up this story. You're just telling a lore of a lore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Greek
Mm-hmm.
gods are weird. They're weird, bro.
They are very weird. So
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for this next episode. We had the pleasure of having the author Anneliese Skye join us. We read her book, The Curse of Orpheus.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get to see us talk with her, chat with her, say our favorite quotes. As always, Blake and I have different opinions on the book, which is best part of this podcast. If we agreed on everything, that would be so boring.
Mm-hmm.
I love that we have different experiences and opinions on the books that we read and our takeaways from it. And this one was a really like a lot of fun to get into. So I really enjoyed it. Um, our next guest is actually going to be very, very interesting. And I
I'm
am
so
so
excited.
excited. I'm so excited for Blake to meet him. So the next guest is going to be author Theoden Humphrey. He was my high school English teacher, my language arts teacher. He was the first teacher who took an interest in my writing in high school. I was a sophomore when I had him as a teacher. He was the first teacher who made me passionate about writing and all the fun things you could do with it, and rules be gone. So I'm so excited to have him. We're going to be reading the first book in his series. It's called The Adventures of Damnation Kane. It is a pirate fantasy type book, and it is just a wild ride, and you guys are going to have so much fun with it. He's an incredible writer. I've learned so much from him. So if you like my books, he is a much better writer. If you like any of our books, like he was a teacher for a reason,
Well,
right?
he's had more experience. He's not a
Yes.
better writer. He just lived
Well,
more life.
he's a better writer at this point where I'm at. I'm
Yeah.
only 28, and so he has written a lot more than me. And I also I love his prose. I think it's phenomenal. So I think You guys are really gonna enjoy it. And he is a character. I cannot wait for you guys to have this interview with him because he is so much fun. He is so interesting and unique, and I think it's gonna be a great time.
I don't know what it is about, like, language arts English teachers that just make them so amazing. I've had, like, my favorite English teacher, she still talks to my dad and she follows my stuff, and they're just, like there's something about them that art is just so inspirational, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because they work in the realm of, like, creating,
Mhm.
that there's something about them that is just more they have more belief in you and they see more of you than maybe, like, a science teacher would see, you know what I mean?
I mean, teachers can make or break us really
Mhm.
when we're young. And so a great teacher is like the best person you can come upon. And he was and is a great teacher. He's a phenomenal teacher. He really cares about his students. So I am so excited for people to read his book because it does not get the hype it deserves.
And our goal in life is to give all these books more hype because
Yeah.
they definitely deserve it, and same with Annalise's book, definitely deserves more hype. She's out
Mhm.
here, 2nd book is out, 3rd one is in the process of writing, like,
Yep.
we I say this all the time, you guys are so focused on what next ACOTAR book is coming out. Meanwhile, there are amazing, great stories being told every day by indie authors that
Hmm.
would surprise you and then make you addicted to
Yep.
them.
And authors who have worked on their craft just as long as these other authors and are just
Mhm.
writing phenomenal books. Like, you don't want to miss out because these books in the indie community, in my opinion, are better than most of the trad books I've been reading. And I am not a person who, I want to preface this, I am not a person who likes to compare author to author, but I will stand up for my indie authors,
Mhm.
because I think they are doing things that the industry, not the authors who are traditionally published, but the
Mhm.
industry is not allowing to happen, indie authors can do because they can
Mhm.
publish whatever they want. So,
And that there's a beauty in that where you don't have to worry about tropes or um cliffhangers or anything like that that the publishing world is trying to make you, add because that's what sells. You get to see pure and beautiful stories that aren't touched by people who think they know what you want.
yep, yep. But yeah, so I am so excited for our next guest. And then I'm even more excited to announce that after that guest, Blake and I are going to be reading each other's books, the first books in our series.
Mhm. I'm so excited.
I am so excited for that, because I was like, Blake and I deserve some hype as well. Like, we do a lot. If you're not familiar with as well, I run a nonprofit organization that's called Pages Against the Patriarchy, and Blake is hosting it with me. We do a lot for the indie author community, um, and we are rarely given our flowers, so we're giving it to ourselves. So after Theoden's his interview, Blake and I will be reading each other's books, and I cannot wait to be yelling at Blake in her DMs about her own book.
I'm
I
gonna
cannot wait.
apologize in advance.
I'm also gonna apologize in advance because mine will. I think you'll like it, but I think there's also gonna be some parts where you're gonna be like, I fucking hate this character, and I'm gonna be like, yes.
'Cause that's such my personality though, to be like, "Ugh, they got on my nerves."
Yeah.
I treat characters like they're real freaking people.
Which for an author, by the way, I think that's what the authors we have on, every time afterwards they message me or Blake, their biggest thing is like, I love how passionate like Blake was and how you were about it. Like, you make authors feel seen that these are real characters, real people, and real stories come to life. So that's the biggest hype girl to authors right here. Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And
But yeah.
authors appreciate all the things that you do too. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but how Kathleen and I met was I was saying some unhinged shit on TikTok,
I
and
loved it.
then she reached out to me. I gotta get back to my unhinged TikToks. I think they'll come back
Yes.
eventually.
I miss those. That's why I was scrolling, I came across Blake's TikToks, and she was, like, just saying some wild shit, and I was like, "I love it. I need this energy. Please
Mm.
come to my event."
And so she invited me to her event. Your event was the first author event I've ever done.
No way, really?
I was so excited.
You
And
are
so
awesome.
thank you. I was so and then I was a mess. I left, like, a vendor event. It was at, like, a Big B coffee. It was hil I had 2 children. It was, like, pure chaos in true me fashion, but you gave me my first shot, and you're gonna be giving so many other authors because Pages Against the Patriarchy, the live event is coming back, and there are gonna be so many other authors because of you and because of the foundation that are gonna get to
Mhm.
have their, like, first shot too, so
That is all that it's about. I just like to, and I don't have a big following on social media, but I am very tapped in with the in-person book community and author community, especially in the
Mhm.
Pacific Northwest. So if I can spread awareness for people and let them know and give back, then that's what I want to do. And so you're going to be able to see both Blake and I. We're going to be hosting. We have a lot of incredible authors joining us this year, and I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for it. That also has a giveaway. A lot of authors are donating so much merch and books and like stickers and bookmarks and bracelets and earrings and all of these fun things. So, check out the website pagesagainstthepatriarchy.com for more information, and Blake and I will be posting about it in the next few months because it's coming up.
So excited, can't wait.
All right. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, for this episode. Enjoy the talk and the conversation and the chaos that we always bring.
Yes, we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to our newest episode. We are joined by Anneliese Skye. She is the author of The Curse of Orpheus, The Mythos of the Pantheon, Book 1. She also has a second book out right now, and she is currently, what she just told us, is working on the third book, it sounds like. So Blake and I read The Curse of Orpheus. I had already read this book, so to put some context here, Annalise read my book Silencer, and I was like, okay, I need to read your book. I read it and I was like, no, you're coming on the podcast. Um, you're gonna come on the podcast because I need Blake to read this so that we can yap about it and I can ask you all the questions about it.
I got
Mhm.
yaps.
Yeah. Blake and I were messaging back and forth. Blake has some strong opinions about the characters, as do I, so I cannot wait for you to hear Annalise. It's hilarious. I wish you could see the
Okay,
messages that I was getting.
Okay,
that's
great.
great.
Oh, I'm glad we're prepared for this. I'm gonna real quick make my first serious opinionated opinion. Orpheus was a fuck.
Wait, let me read the back. Let me read the blurb. So you see
Okay.
how well we do this, Annalise? This is like our 8th episode, and we
It's
don't.
okay. Yeah, I'm used to digression. My friends are like that too. Don't worry.
Yeah, I lose my train of thought every 5 seconds. Okay, so
Me too.
farewell. The final word Orpheus hears before Eurydice is pulled back into the dark depths of the underworld. His love is now gone forever. Orpheus didn't wait until Eurydice had passed the threshold of the underworld. He had turned too soon. But Orpheus doesn't stop there. He defies Hades, the god of the underworld, and attempts to steal Eurydice away without Hades knowing. Orpheus fails, and he is cursed with immortal life and must live without Eurydice. Eurydice has returned to the human world every 100 years, but doesn't remember who she or Orpheus is. Orpheus has 3 months to convince Eurydice to say, I love you, to break the curse forever, or he is doomed to wait for his love to return in another 100 years. So that is the blurb for the book. And then, Annalise, if you want to introduce yourself to our viewers, who you are, um, where we can find your books, what first inspired you to write the books.
Okay, hi. I'm Anneliese Skye. That's my pen name. I write the Mythos of the Pantheon series, which is based on Greek mythology. So each book has a specific myth that it focuses on. So they're kind of standalones, but they're interconnected. So you'll be seeing all these characters throughout the books. Um, you can find them on Amazon, Ingram Spark. I have quite a few bookstores that, like independent bookstores that have them. There's one in my local area called Haven Booksellers. So if you're local to Kingsport, Tennessee, like check him out. His bookstore is amazing. But what really inspired me to write the Greek mythology, I took a Greek mythology class back in high school, and fell in love with it. Wish I had paid more attention to it, but some of it kind of stuck throughout the years. So I went to college, took more ancient history and all that stuff, and just kind of fell in love with it. And then one day I was driving to work, and I was like, it'd be really cool if somebody wrote a book about a woman who has amnesia, which I know there's plenty more of it, but then like she would come back and doesn't know, and like this reincarnation story. And then I was like, well, your favorite Greek myth, the like tragedy is Orpheus and Eurydice. I was like, well, why don't you do that? Like you have that story instead of allowing Orpheus to, be murdered at the end and all that. Take it and go with it. And that's pretty much how it came to be. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah. Go ahead.
Blake is like, let's get into this.
There's a
Um,
little lag on my end, so if it takes me a second, I'm listening to your questions, okay?
no worries, no worries. Yeah, so I read The Curse of Orpheus, I don't know, maybe it was 2 months ago? I don't know, whenever I had first asked you to come on is when I finished it. Um, so I'm just gonna give it my brief, feelings first, and then I'll let Blake go in because Blake as well has some strong feelings about some of the characters as well. Okay. I want a man to be as obsessed with me as Orpheus is obsessed with Eurydice. I want that man to basically be stalking me. If I'm into him. If I'm into him. I love how, like, the dynamic between Orpheus and Eurydice, their different chapters, was absolutely hilarious because Eurydice's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I kissed Orpheus. Okay, I can't do that again." Meanwhile, Orpheus is like, the shade of her eyes, the color of her skin, the sunlight dances off it. She is the most beautiful person to ever exist. And Eurydice is like, "Ugh, this is so annoying."
Yeah.
I'm
Who
dying
is this
laughing.
guy?
Yeah. I was
All
dying
right.
laughing at the differences when it, like, jumps immediately Orpheus being like, "Just being able to touch her is worth it," and then Eurydice is like, "Oh my god, why did I kiss him?"
Yeah.
May I may I never find myself in a relationship. And let me be very clear. I like possessive. Like a little bit of possessive, I'll fuck with it. Protective, absolutely. Burn the world down for me, absolutely. But may I never find myself in a relationship. Like oh my god, look, I am the
Messy.
complete opposite of you, Kathleen. Like there are so many things about Orpheus that just gave me the ick, right? Like sometimes when he was like, "Why won't you love me?" And I'm like, "Dude, she doesn't remember you."
Right.
Like there
Yeah.
are moments like that. And then I like thought about it from Eurydice's side and both of their sides. Like I'm so happy um that they had a happy ending at the end. For sure. No spoiler alert. We already told you should have read the book. Mind your business. I'm I'm so happy that they had the happy ending at the end. But the amount of torture that both of them went through, I would rather like if I love someone, if I were Eurydice, I would rather have had Orpheus let me go.
Oh,
Like I would have rather him like first of all, Orpheus, you fucked up. Okay? Like this all exists because you fucked up. They told you not to turn around. Yo greedy ass turned around.
you're
That's
greedy.
just how we got here. But outside of that, like I I always will be like, if I pass away, like me and my several boyfriends or whatever, like when I pass away, I want you to like be happy and find something else.
Mhm.
I don't want you to spend 2,000 years.
This is so Annalise, this is where Blake and I differ in this because I want a man to crawl for me through
Mhm.
thousands of years. Because even then, after thousands of years, I'm still gonna be like, but do you really love me?
Oh
But do
my
you really
gosh.
love me? Um
The
I
stupidity of them both being like, do they really love me? No, Eurydice, he just has spent the last 2,000 years trying to get you to love him. No, he doesn't really love you.
yeah.
Orpheus, does Eurydice love me? No, sir. Also, she might not because y'all trauma bonded a hell a bunch in
So
this cycle.
So, Annalise,
My
what
goodness.
when you were writing Orpheus's, because it's mainly in Orpheus's point of view, this book.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's mainly his
Yeah.
chapters. What was your, like, headspace going in with writing him?
Um, I guess when I write these books, I put like a little personal twist to it a little bit. So I mean, everybody has like something that scares them, and see where Orpheus didn't get that life with her, she literally died on their wedding day. So in my book, they've only known each other like 2 days. So he's literally trying to get that life that was denied to him and Eurydice. So, like, one of my fears is that, one day my husband won't, you know, will just be like, "Oh, I don't love you," that kind of thing. So that as I was going through that mental space when I was
Mhm.
writing Orpheus, I embedded it into the character. And what better way than to have, your mind boggled going, "It's taken me 2,600 years for you to fall in love with me. Like, is something wrong with me? Did she actually ever love me?" Blah, like, it starts snowballing and gets worse as time goes on because, it's not working. He can't get her.
Um, no, I completely, like, understand that fact. That is also, like, one of my biggest fears is that when you finally get okay, side note really quickly. You guys know about Rent the Musical, right?
Yeah.
So there's a musical Netflix did that had like Andrew Garfield and I can't remember what her name is, but it was his first play, but it was about his life trying to sell a play, right?
Mhm.
Also, while
Okay.
going through a lot of his friends who were in the theater community, a lot of them were gay, dying from AIDS.
Uh-huh.
Um, so he finally does sell his play and it goes off and then he gets like off Broadway things and he produces Rent. Rent goes really well. Rent is going to debut on Broadway. The night that Rent is debuting on Broadway, he passes away.
Yeah.
And so like that's always my biggest fear is that like when I finally get it, when I finally make it, when I finally reach that like peak of happiness, that'll be the end of it. So I completely understand, like, that and, like, the feelings behind that.
Yeah.
Now, to the character of Orpheus, there were things like, I loved Orpheus's devotion. Orpheus has a bad temper problem. That man got a temper like he a god. Um,
Well,
but
A
he's been
god
my
complex.
harboring, he's been keeping his
he's been keep
emotions in check for
yeah,
so long that it
Yeah.
just finally, if you're talking about the temper where he's in the field, where Eurydice finds him, he finally had enough. Like, how everybody has a breaking point. Like, you
mhm,
can roll, you can roll, you can roll. And with Orpheus, he had had enough. He was just like, I don't he it was like the throwing your hands up moment, like, I don't know what else to do. I can't do this, you don't fall in love with me here, I've tried this, I've tried everything. So pretty much it was, all right, I'm done. Like, he just had a moment of just, I'm done. Whatever happens, happens kind of moment. And it just shows a weakness in him of, I'm human. I'm allowed to have these emotions. And eventually they just take over. And yeah, it causes damage, as you see in the book. It causes
mhm,
a little bit of damage that he needs to fix. But it just shows that how relationships can have that good
that,
times, and
like
then it can
yeah.
also have that turmoil times.
I
So,
think
oh,
go ahead.
no, so I was just gonna say, um, so something I liked, and then I'm gonna give, a quote as well with it is what you're talking about with that. I think I really enjoyed the progression of Orpheus because in the beginning, really, I would say for the first like 150 pages,
Mhm,
Orpheus has this idea still of love. He is very much within this headspace and this idea of like, well, no,
yeah,
like I'm doing the right thing. We're doing the right things right now. We're talking, we're progressing. This should all go perfectly. Like this is what love is supposed to be like. And I
mhm,
really liked how he learns along the way, like, no, it's the broken parts as well. Like I have to see her and her worst. She has to see me and my worst. That's how love is built and refounded, not just off of, I'm going to be the perfect man for you. I'm going to show up with flowers. I'm going to let you tell me about everything. I want to know everything about you. It's no, here are the awful parts. Here's me crying and broken down and bleeding and still choosing you. So I really liked how he it took him that long to be like, no, I don't need to show up perfect for her. I need to show up real for her to fall in love with me. And that, like, breaking point was so beautiful to watch because I think a lot of people struggle with that. We, like, go on these dates, especially, like, Blake and I are still out in the dating world, so we're going on these dates, and oftentimes, either we can feel this way or other people feel this way to present perfect or their best self, but it's like,
Yeah, for sure.
that's not what makes you want somebody, that's not what makes you wanna keep pursuing somebody, it's seeing the broken parts and still choosing them and wanting to be with them and loving those broken parts as well as the great parts. So I really loved seeing that progression with it. Um a funny quote. This is page or this is chapter 24 of the book. So this is this is not a funny scene technically, but this quote is so funny. So Eurydice had basically drowned in the river and Orpheus had to perform CPR on her or whatever to bring her back.
Mhm.
And right after he brings her back, she's like crawling towards him and touches her cheek. And she says, "Are you all right?" She asks as she gazes at my ruined face. She does not look any better. She looks like a drowned rat.
Yeah. Like you don't understand, like, "You look horrible, honey, you just
Yeah,
died and you're concerned for me, like, I'm
I,
touched, but you look pretty bad too."
yes.
Yeah.
It's like,
I just,
you just got
I,
thrown off a balcony into a pool by a minotaur and, like, held under to drown, like,
And you're
come on,
asking
girl.
me if I'm okay.
yeah. I, I love
I will
that quote,
say
and that felt the most, like, human to me. That was like, "Girl, you look like a
Yeah.
drowned rat, okay?
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
you're the focus."
I'm the
Yep.
opposite. I loved Orpheus in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, I really did like him. I mean, I agree with you, Kathleen, that he definitely was more in love with love, and I think that's the biggest problem maybe that I have in this whole situation, is that he was just in love with love, and that was really frustrating to me. But I will say that, um, for me, it was that there was an he couldn't shake because he's so in love with Eurydice and he's so obsessed with her, he couldn't shake this feeling that she belonged to him, which is fair, but, like, when she reappears, she really doesn't belong to him.
Mhm.
And there I have a quote, and it's from, chapter 5, um, and it's 2 quotes, I'm just gonna read them back to back. The first one is, "Love is such a cruel and beautiful thing. Love can bring happiness and euphoria, but can also completely destroy a soul and leave it in tattered ruins." And that's kinda how I felt about Orpheus, like, throughout all of it. And he just seemed like this broken soul, even when there's further into the book and he talks about how, "I was so mad at you for kissing this other man." And I'm like, "My guy, she's not like, she is your wife, but she's not your, like, there has to be." He gets so caught up in this, and you see it more and more as they get closer, because this is the closest that he's ever gotten, and he has more hope in it, but it also brings him more pain. Same from that quote, right? The more he, like, loves Eurydice, because this is the first time he really gets to, like, love her again, to your point, Kathleen, the more he kind of, like, fixates on these things that she did wrong, even when they had that fight, and he's, like, yelling at her and screaming at it. And that was a frustrating part to me. I think that, to me, that was Eurydice's, not Eurydice's, Orpheus's flaw in the whole grand scheme of things, is this time he really got to do it, but before, he just had the assumption that Eurydice was his, and he didn't really work to earn her, and he just expected that if he did just this little bit or gave her attention, that this connection would really come back. And in this one where Eurydice's name was Eurydice this time, um, he really had to learn how to work to earn her. And so that is what I like. And then, so that leads into the next quote, which is, "Eurydice's personality and appearance are different each time, but it does not cause me to love her any less. I love her even more. I fall in love with every aspect of her." And that part of him I love, but, like, the part of him that won't see her for her own individual person and not for the Eurydice that he has in his mind. And he's so lucky that her name was Eurydice this time and she had probably more of the personality because
Mhm.
the fates
Yeah, the
aligned.
Fates, they're funny little buggers.
Can we talk about the fates for a second?
Well, hold on, wait. I wanna hear what
Okay,
Anneliese has to say about that.
sorry, yes.
No, it's fine, yeah, and to go off what you're saying, yeah, when they first got together, in one of the chapters when, she's by the river in the past and she's cleaning, the clothes and all that stuff and then sees him, it was like it was, like that cliche of the magic happened right then, like, boom, the spark, blah, 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 and they just fell in love, like, she met this stranger at a tree and all of a sudden started kissing him, and, like, a couple chapters later. Like,
Yeah, I was
that
like,
was their life then.
girl.
I know, I was like, "Girl, get it," you know? So, it's cool to see how, like, okay, he had, like, like, this is my wife, and, and, like, the possessiveness and all that stuff, but then it's like, okay, I have to learn to traverse and to go and to want and, to battle this and battle that, and then, like, when Hades throws the 3, I guess you can call them trials or whatever, to try to kill Eurydice to keep the curse intact, like, he has to learn to pivot, he has to learn to do this, he has to learn to trust her, he has to do this, and then the same thing with Eurydice, and it's just like, and like with Apollo, like that's one of the reasons Apollo doesn't help. He's just like, you got yourself into this. I can't. I mean, I'm not going to intervene because you have
Apollo
to
was the
learn these
only
lessons.
sane one here.
Yeah, it's like Artemis was there to kind of keep him kind of level headed. Like you at least have a safe place to live here. But yeah, Apollo was pretty much like, you screwed up, dude. Like you went into
He
the
was
underworld. No one goes into the underworld.
he was so right, like, I think that's one of my like, again, I love Orpheus's devotion, but, like,
Hmm.
she passed away, it's tragic. It's so tragic that the god of the underworld feels for you and, like, gifts you this thing, and again, your greedy ass, who had to look behind, had to be sure,
Yeah.
couldn't trust, and trust is one of Orpheus's biggest issues, I will say that.
Yeah, because I guess just everything that's happened and, just the misconstrue how he sees things, and it's
Yeah,
kinda like it's cliche, like, like, he blames her for kissing, all these men throughout her different lives, and then at the end, the siren's like, "Hey," and then she's like, "Excuse me," you're and then she just runs off, like, takes off running because she sees him kissing another woman, that kinda
yeah.
stuff, so it's like it's cliche, like, "You're blaming me for this, but then I caught you doing that," you know? I mean, I know it wasn't his fault because the siren, but
But
so.
also I can't help to think about first of all, I told this to Kathleen, I was rooting for Persephone and Hades because when, Orpheus hurt my baby Cerberus, like, why would you dare hurt a dog? That's just cruel. I was like, "No, Persephone, go off. Curse him to oblivion." But I think my biggest issue is that he it's kinda like Romeo and Juliet, right? Where they, like,
Mhm.
cursed each other both into eternal suffering. He because he couldn't let go, because he couldn't accept fate, he cursed himself. Yeah, he struggled, but Eurydice would spend 100 years in the underworld knowing, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Just
she
sitting
the
down
Hades
there next
turns her
I
to
have
head.
I have a
Yeah.
question, for Annalise. So I'm not incredibly familiar with Greek mythology. I'm a Norse mythology girly. Um, but when I was reading this book, I looked into the Orpheus and Eurydice thing, and I want you to tell me if this is true or not. So there's two different main takes on the tragedy of Orpheus and Eurydice for why he turned around. The first, um, I think is the most common belief is that he turned around because, um, like when you are one step away from love and a happy life, you tend to self-destruct and you'll do the one thing that you shouldn't do that makes you lose
sabotage it.
sabotage it.
Mhm.
The other
Self-sabotage.
yeah, the other belief, which this is one as a psychologist I prefer because
Okay.
I'd like to think that not everybody self-sabotages with love, is that if you love someone so deeply and so much with every fiber of your being, you can't help but not turn around. You can't help but not check on them, right? To even if it's something that in the end will tear you two apart, you can't help but do the thing that you know will give you reassurance that they're still there. It's so hard to not do that even if you know the consequences for those actions. Which one of those opinions of the tragedy do you think you had in mind while writing the characters in the book?
The one that I had in mind is actually it's not one of them, but those are good takes on it. I read a book back in college, and it said that the main focus of The Curse of Orpheus, now this is just their opinion, but the main reason that Orpheus turned around at the very last second is it's to interpret and to show how humans are very impatient. They don't know how to one trust, which has been a big topic today, and then
Mhm.
it's just like that sense of doubt. Like in the beginning, when he's telling what has happened, he's like, Hades said that she's there behind me, but I don't hear her. Like. There's nothing telling me that she's back there. So how do it? So it's like it's a gambit of things, but the main thing is it's more of humans just are impatient. And when good things are getting ready to be handed to us, we either, I mean, it could be the self destruction, but we don't learn to just go with it and to flow and to be patient and to wait and that kind of thing. So that was mostly the premise of it. But I mean, you could take the self sabotage. I mean, that's a good thing. Yeah. I mean, in my book, he pretty much self sabotaged
All the
himself.
time.
So,
I like the your interpretation, Annalise, or the interpretation that you got from a book. I think that that's legitimately how I see the entire story. Is just of a story of a person who just and I want to be clear, like I'm going to be an Orpheus hater, but I completely understand. I
It's
completely
okay.
understand why, it is really hard for you to have this wife. It's fresh, it's new, you're so happy. And then she goes along this trail, and you feel like if she didn't separate from you or whatever, she would have never gotten bitten by this. She would have never been bitten by the snake, and all would have been good. Like, I completely understand that feeling and how it can destroy your trust and your belief in things. But, like, that maybe it's because I've been experiencing so much of that, like, lesson in my life currently, that learning that even in the bumpy paths, you still have to have faith that it'll all work out. And that's one, like I said, trust and having faith is one of Orpheus's biggest things. He does self-sabotage, but it's because he just doesn't trust that it'll ever work out for him, which is because he has this PTSD wound that when it finally
mhm,
did, it all fell apart.
just
And
take it away.
100%
Hmm.
understand. I think that this is why I said Apollo was one of the only sane people there, because I think that that was what he was trying to teach his son. Even in the
Hmm.
last battle when mm, Orpheus put a knife to Persephone's neck, slighted, um, and up, after it all
I
ends,
kind of love that. I love in the Greek myths, I love when the humans are like, "You're a god, fuck
like
you."
giving it to the gods.
Yeah.
And
I think
Apollo helped. Like, I try to do that plot twist. I try to put like little Easter eggs in there, like in the scene where Hades is in the chamber, like the bath chamber, and she said, you will never lose me." That's a little
mhm,
Easter egg. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
why would she say something like that? And then when Apollo looks at Philia and goes, "Follow the lavender," Persephone smells like lavender. That's why I
Right.
use scents and things like that, so that way you can
mm,
figure out, like, Orion smells like, firewood. Like, when you read Artemis, he smells like firewood. Artemis smells like cinnamon. And so each character has their own scent. So, like, I was laying Easter eggs out. So, and I keep asking people, I'm like, "So did you catch the ending? Did you figure out how it was gonna happen?" And none of them are they're like, "No, I never would have guessed that."
no,
I'm like, "Yes." So,
I I didn't either, but, like, so Apollo, when all that's happening, he says, "Go find," like, Apollo was the realest one. But he says when Orpheus finally does it and he holds his ground and he doesn't act, he said, "All I wanted you to learn was patience. All I wanted you to learn was, like, to trust the process and to sit back for a second." And I think that was the most important, like, lesson in all of this, is that when Orpheus loses, Eurydice for the second time, his immediate reaction is to just go back and get her. You know, he doesn't trust his family to help him figure it out. He doesn't sit with it for a second. He doesn't even like grieve it. He never, in any of this, never really grieves it. And Apollo was just kind of like, yo, you know what? You're never going to get it until you get it. And I'm not going to be a part of you destroying yourself, ruining your life, continuing the cycle for you and Eurydice until you're really ready to like look at yourself
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
do the work.
Yep.
I have another quote. This is a long one. Eurydice moves before she can think further on her idiotic plan. She throws herself in front of the tree Orpheus is striking. The bark of the tree digs into her back and bites into the palm of her hands as she props up against the tree. Her eyes widen as he pulls his fist back and punches. Eurydice shuts her eyes and braces for his punch. She is willing to take the pain if it will make Orpheus stop this madness. That quote right there, um, and we can discuss it further, but for me, that quote right there sums up both of them together for most of this book, where Orpheus is trying to do everything to take the brunt of Eurydice's initial death. He is
Hmm.
trying to deal with all of the consequences for it. And she is trying to take the brunt of his pain and suffering when both of them should be only taking each other's shit and
Yeah.
then being able to like come together to work through it. But each of them are trying to grasp at things that aren't theirs to hold. And only until the end where they're finally like, okay, wait, this is my part in this story, and this is your
Hmm.
part in that story. And we don't actually need to try and like negate that. Those are real, and all of our emotions within that are real.
Hmm.
When I read that quote, I was like, oh my God, Eurydice, don't put yourself in front of the punch. Jesus Christ, Eurydice, God damn it.
She knew he wouldn't hurt her. That's why
Yeah,
she did it. She knew. I mean, even though he was like in that blind rage, in that just self-consuming, woe is me, poor pitiful me kind of moment, which we all have. She knew
Hmm.
that if she did that, he would intentionally miss her. He would not hurt her because he's never hurt her. I mean, yeah, they're getting at each other with words and things like that. I mean, that's normal stuff, but he knew that he would not physically harm her. He would go out of his way to make sure that she was not struck by him. So
yeah,
that's the only way she knew how to stop him. She's just like, all right, either you can hit me or you can hit the tree. You pick. This is your choice right now. So,
right.
So I have a question outside of this.
mhm.
Who was your favorite character to write and why was it Persephone and Hades?
Well, I don't know. Like seriously, like when I was writing Orpheus, like I loved writing Orpheus. Like I absolutely
Hmm.
loved it. It was amazing. It's my baby, okay? Like I mean, I still come back to Orpheus going, "Damn, I wrote this. I wrote this book. Holy crap."
Yeah.
But there is just a concept with Hades and Persephone that I just absolutely love. Like he's not really a bad guy. Like everybody puts like he's like Hades is this bad guy. He is just a god in this book who was wrong. And he's like, okay, I'm going to treat you like any god does, and I'm going to punish you accordingly. But it wasn't actually technically him who did it. Persephone's the one who came up with it. He just agreed with it. So he's
Because
like,
he
okay,
hurt
let's do this.
Cerberus.
I know the poor puppy, which you'll see Cerberus again in Hades and Persephone. Cerberus plays a big part in it.
Yay!
Hey.
Yeah, so I just loved Hades and Persephone. When I was writing Orpheus, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to write Artemis next. I was like, okay, I'm going to write Artemis because it'll just play along with how I'm doing this.
Hmm.
And then I was like, and then I started writing Artemis and I was like, I have to write a Hades and Persephone. So like things are working out the way that they need to because like the way that Hades and Persephone is going on now,
Hmm.
I get to integrate it into what has happened with Orpheus and Artemis. So everything just works and just flows very well. Even though I wanted to write Hades and Persephone after Orpheus, I'm glad I waited till after Artemis.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I I'm so excited. I have always been I don't know, have you ever like read the comic Lore Olympus?
Girl, let me tell you, I have every single comic in there in hardback. I'm waiting for the last 3 books, and I just got the Oracle deck, but I haven't finished the comic yet. I'm like 10, 15 panels short off of Webtoons. I haven't finished it yet. So,
I haven't finished it. That's because like the ADHD in me got like super hyper focused and spent so much money.
yeah.
And then at one point she took a prolonged break, as she should. But the problem is that in that prolonged break, my hyper focus died. But I think that's why I really love Persephone and Hades, because of Lore Olympus. And I was just like, I just want more. I don't know. There's something about, I love Persephone. I almost named my Jeep Persephone. It was between Persephone and Setsuna. Completely opposite, by the way. Persephone is obviously, a Greek goddess, and Setsuna is from Sailor Moon. But I love
Okay.
Persephone. I love Persephone so much, and I just love the like duality that she represents in a woman. Right? Like
Mhm.
half the year, she is this goddess of spring and birth and renewal. And in the other half of the year, she's this badass chilling in the underworld, or helping rule with Hades,
Mhm. Yeah.
There's something about her that I've always loved that, to me, more than any of the other Greek goddesses, represents a beautiful balance between masculine and feminine.
Mhm. Well, and
Um,
also, like, the light side and the dark side of all our personalities. She has fully embraced both of
Mhm.
them. So,
yeah.
Mhm.
mhm.
I have another quote. This is chapter 38, from Eurydice. I need you to come back so I can tell you I love you, Eurydice whispers.
And then
And the patience and the timing thing with both of them, I was like, Eurydice, girl, you could have said that before. Damn it, Eurydice.
Look,
Also,
in the
but
in the
wait,
middle
wait,
of
hold
y'all
on,
in
hold
the
on,
sorry,
wait,
go
hold
ahead.
on. I gotta
Go ahead.
finish this thought because I was so upset. I was so upset when I read that in chapter 38. I was like hitting the table. I was like, God damn it, Eurydice, you could have said that sooner. And then I was like, okay, but also from Eurydice's side, she didn't have any of her memories. She starts over every single time with all of these lives and different versions and whatnot. But also, to know the gravity of telling somebody that you love them will break both of your curses, will save all this, that's a lot of weight to put on her
Mhm.
shoulders. Like,
Yeah.
yes, Orpheus is in the position where he has to be trying to earn her love back. But
Mhm.
Eurydice is in the position where, okay, but what if I don't feel that way? What if I'm not ready to say that? Like, if I say that, that's like the entire premise, and there's gods involved with this, now relies on me and my feelings that I'm not even too sure what I feel at this moment. Like, that is a
Mhm.
lot of pressure. So then I was like, okay, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair that you took your time, but god damn it, Eurydice, I was so pissed at you for that.
It's kinda like the universe is saying, "No, you guys have not learned your lessons. It's not ready yet." So it's just like it's like that universe of like, it's like that saying of what will be yours will eventually find you. So it's
Well,
like
yeah.
it will come, but you're not ready yet. It's not time for you to have that just yet? So yeah, yeah, put up your dukes, you gotta fight a little bit more, so
No, no, F that. You mean to tell me y'all in the middle of love making and you can't say, I love you? People say, I love you in the middle of love making all the time. In fact, they say it a whole bunch. You mean to tell me that by the way, real quick side note, um, the day that Orpheus came back is my birthday. He came back on
Oh.
December 5th.
Oh.
And when I heard that, I was like, Anneliese doesn't know me. But I'm now going to be obsessed with this because I don't let things go when they happen on my birthday because I'm a Sagittarius,
Me
aka
too!
Sagittarius.
2
Eh,
Sagittariuses.
I'm December 18th. I'm on the Capricorn
oh,
cusp.
yeah.
I'm a
Um,
Libra.
I'm a Libra. I just balance
I'm a
everything and make
Libra.
it better.
There you go.
But no, I was just like, I mean, if I'm a different person, right? Okay, so we described that I'm a Sagittarius. I legitimately would have just looked at him one morning and been like, dumb fuck, I love you. Can we end this curse now? Like, I don't need it to be like a special moment. Are we
It
done?
it's how Sagittariuses are.
It is. Like, I just, like, again, but like also, Kathleen, fun fact about Libras are lovers.
Which is weird because I was just about to say, like, I was so mad at her for not doing that, but I understand it. But for me personally,
Yeah.
boy, does it take a lot for me to say I love you to somebody. And even then, I'm like, okay, I love you, whatever, shut up. Like, and so
I
then
just
I was
wanted to
like, okay, you're gonna see you and I are the same, and that's probably why I'm so angry at you. That
It's like
we're
I'm
the same
seeing
in
traits of myself in you. Like, what is going on?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
I
so
understand.
mad at her. I was rolling my eyes every single time. And then they're like, "Oh, we're going out because Philia wants to go out and go bark at things." And I'm like, "Oh, isn't this quite interesting that we're having a cute moment outside and you don't immediately look at me and be like, 'I love you.'"
Also,
It's a day left.
side note, Philia interrupting every single time they were about to have sex or kiss or whatever was hilarious. Like,
And
Yeah, she was the
what was
official
the
cock
mom's
block.
name?
yeah.
What's the
Oh,
mom's name?
oh my god.
Calliope?
Hang on. Yeah, Calliope, yes.
Yeah,
Yep,
Calliope cock blocking or coming in right after they have sex, and he's like such a kid in this moment. "Mom," and she's like,
Yeah.
"You're
yep,
grown. You
Yeah.
have sex. Move
yep.
on."
I thought that was
Yep,
hilarious every time.
yeah, yeah. I loved Philia. I loved writing her in there 'cause I call her the world's worst, like, cock block. So, you know that
I
little
think
lizard? I put a video on my thing, and it was like the lizard, and it said Philia. Like, "Hey, I'm not gonna
lizard,
ruin
lizard,
it."
lizards.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was so funny. I love the point when, like, they were about to make out and Philia comes barking in and Orpheus is just like, "That fucking dog, like, that damn dog."
Yep, yep.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
I think
Yeah.
Philia really rounded out Orpheus's, like, character. I think for me, Orpheus was just so caught up in his, like, anger that I would love to see, and maybe it happens in, like, the other books, what Orpheus is like when he's not the cursed version of Orpheus,
He's a
you know what I
he's
mean?
a
Because he was
goofball.
just too much and, like, too needy for me specifically, but I've also discussed that I am a gray cat that wants, like, uh what did I say? I can't remember what it was now, but it was, like, a specific dog or, like, a black like, I need someone that's, like, I have to be the needy one, you cannot be. Um, but Philia being able to show the, like, more the softer parts of Orpheus, the more human parts, the parts where he, his aunt loves him and gifts him this companion so that he doesn't have to go through this world alone, and how he relies on her and how he trusts her. Like, Philia low-key taught Orpheus how to trust and to believe and to have faith, and I loved how well she rounded out the character for him and how she made him, in my personal opinion, a little bit more likable. Anyone who can have a dog is a person that's trustworthy.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I always like to put, like, animal companions and things because,
Mhm.
1, they're comedic relief, like, they're hilarious, and then 2, yeah, they're there to show strength. They're there to show, "Hey, even if you don't have somebody over here, you can lean on me," kinda thing. You
Yeah.
can like,
Yeah.
the trust thing you're talking about. They're always good. Like, in Artemis, her companion is, Argos. I think it's Argos. But you don't really see him as much, but he's there, but he's not as prominent as Philia is. So
Yeah.
you'll see him kind of mixed in there. And then of course the animal companion is Cerberus in the third one. So he's just a giant three-headed puppy, literally a puppy dog. Just he looks mean and vicious, but he's like, "Hey, where we going? You
Yeah.
know, like let's go do this thing."
I
So,
Oh,
love this.
cute.
yep,
This is what I'm saying,
yeah.
like, the reason why Orpheus was in trouble wasn't because he went to, like, let's go into the underworld, it's because he hurt Cerberus.
He hurt the puppy. How dare you
Has he
hurt the
not learned
puppy?
from John Wick? You don't
Don't
hurt
hurt
the
the
dog.
dog. Don't hurt the dog.
Yeah, that's
Don't
what
hurt
we've
the
heard. You don't
dog.
hurt the dog.
Dog.
Yes,
Um,
Cerberus is really fun in my real quick, sorry. In Hades, I'll tell you one thing. Hades has to go to Tartarus, which is he is a god and also a place. So the way I wrote it is It's both the place and the god. So you actually meet you meet Tartarus. So Hades wants to take Cerberus with him, and he's just like, "Hey, old friend, you ready to go?" And Cerberus is like wiggling his butt, like, "Yeah, let's go." So then he doesn't know he's going to Tartarus. They go to Tartarus, and then all of a sudden Tartarus comes out, and he's like, "What the hell have you got me into?" Like Cerberus is like, "I'm ready to bail," but then
Yeah.
Tartarus doesn't let him. So yeah, but yeah, I think you'll like Cerberus in the third one. He's pretty funny.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I need to read
Yeah.
the other books.
Mhm.
I need to read Artemis next. So, this book, for me, um, made me upset because I was upset. I know Blake doesn't like Orpheus, and I didn't for the first part as well either, but this book made me upset because I'm mad that a man is not practically begging for me like Orpheus is. Um, I want my man groveling like Orpheus is. Um, I love that. I love their dynamic. I love Eurydice's softness and
Mhm.
her empathy for him and for other people, for Hades, for Persephone, for Orpheus, for herself, for all these other people, and the understanding that she brings with it. I really love that growth in her character. I write really tough, mean, bitchy characters. I do.
A
But
kick-ass
I
character.
But I love this, like, softness in Eurydice. I love soft characters like that and to show that feminine side, and there were moments in the book as well. I can't, my phone is, like, tweaking out, so I can't find the, exact quote for it, but there are moments where it was in Eurydice's chapter, and just the way that she interacts with the world and her joy that she can view this life in despite everything that's happened, despite her autonomy being stripped from her, but besides the fact, like, her life, her original life, and all of these other lives have been taken from her because of this curse, just because of the fact that she died, which was out of her hands. I
Uh-huh.
love the softness that she deals out with other people and that, like, strength and femininity of being a pillar that doesn't need to be, like, this physically strong or annoying, rude person. She was soft and kind even when she didn't need to be. So I really loved that with her. And
When you
I
were saying that, it reminded me of the chapter when they're hosting the birthday party, and that's when Orpheus finds her with the baby.
Yes, yeah.
That's what popped in my head. I was like, "I think that
Yes.
might be what she's talking about," but yeah, I loved
Yes,
writing
that's
that
what I'm talking
chapter.
about. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that chapter, and I just love, like, just, like, those moments where instead of, like, Orpheus being like, "Oh, look how beautiful, beautiful," whatever it is, she was just being herself and didn't care if anybody was watching, and you're like, "Oh, what a wonderful person." Like like, she's just doing all these wonderful things, so I loved how you wrote her character because in the original Greek myth, like, you don't know anything about Eurydice at
Mhm.
all.
Not
Yeah.
really, because their myth is so small, like, so teeny tiny, that literally I was like, "The past is just this myth. I'm gonna give you the myth as we're going, but I can create it how I want it."
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "I can make these people how I want." So that's why she's obsessed with tacos,
Yeah.
and, like, and he's obsessed with old music
Who is
and things
it?
like that. I was like, "I got to play with this." It was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
So,
You know
Yeah,
what I
I
think, Evelyn?
liked that. I really liked how you, wrote her, and I think a lot of times as writers, it's really hard for us when no matter which character point of view you choose, like FMC, MMC, whatever, whoever, if there's a romance in it, it is really hard to get the reader to fall in love with the other person in a true way. To see outside of instead of just the character be like, "Yeah, I love this person." It's like, "Okay, but tell me why. Why do we love this person?" I need to
yeah.
see that on a page, and I really like the way that you wrote Eurydice, that it was so easy to see why Orpheus loved her, and it was so easy to see why Hades and Persephone had so much compassion for her to be like, look at this beautiful, kind woman that is kind in all these respects. Like, who wouldn't love her and who wouldn't want to fight for her? So I really like that addition. Um, uh, but yeah, I just wanted to say that
And
about the book.
the way that I'm writing it, and especially with Hades and Persephone, you'll see why they have such compassion for them from the stuff that they are going through in their story and
Right.
why they have a little sympathetic ear for
Yeah.
them. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that,
Okay, sorry. Blake, what were you saying?
no, you're fine. I think that I think I get why I don't like Orpheus and you do, and I like Persephone and Hades more, and I think it's just, like, you remind me of Eurydice, right? Like
Yeah,
no,
I
you
know. I know.
do.
We're similar. That's why I hated her at times because we're similar.
But,
I,
like,
Annalise
in
was
all
like, "I'm calling you out in this
yeah,
book."
in all the ways that you just described, like her kindness and her generosity and, her doing things for others no matter what's happening on her going on with her, like, I see that in you a lot. I don't know you,
Oh,
like,
thank
forever and
you.
forever, but I definitely see that in you, and I think that that's why I'm the complete opposite is because I'm definitely not like I'm not like someone who will be so mean and hurtful or whatever, but I always see myself as, I guess, more of like a Persephone, which is why I think Orpheus
Mhm.
is really hard for me. They didn't challenge each other enough for me. That's a problem that I have personally. Women don't go looking for men that are just going to challenge you and push you like Persephone and Hades does. It's not a sane thought. I know.
No, you are very Persephone coded because you are very much like both of us have dominant personalities, but
Mhm.
you like your dominant personality, you're like, "Well, I want somebody to match this and to be more dominant so that I can like
Yeah.
be the most of myself that I can be." So that's
Mhm.
so funny. That's why, Annalise, we love doing this with authors and we love talking to you guys about their books because Blake and I are different and yet similar. And so our takeaways
Mhm.
and the characters we gotta meet with your book, that's why it's so important when authors can have that duality with their characters. Because Blake
Yeah.
and I are relating to two completely different storylines in the book and on opposite spectrums, and we can both enjoy it. So
Yeah,
that's
we both got
I
something
love
out of
this.
it.
Yeah, I love seeing, like, Blake's point of view and then yours. I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool," but I can see both of them. I'm like, "Yeah, I can see why Blake doesn't like A, B, and C. Yeah, I can totally see that." And then Kathleen, I can see this. Like, I'm like, "Yeah." And I love seeing how readers take the books and
Mhm.
interpret it in their way, however whatever they see it through their eyes and all that stuff. It is so fascinating. Like, some of the stuff I'm like, "Oh, I never even really thought about that. That's a really good point." Like, "Oh my god, yeah." So, like, I love seeing this. Like, this is so cool seeing the
I
2 different
knew when I recommended the book to Blake, I was like, I know exactly how Blake is gonna react to this, and I was like, "I cannot wait," and then she kept texting me, and I was just like I couldn't tell her what would happen next, so I was just like, "Ha ha ha ha." Like
You Annalise, we have like a Fable, book club, right? So
Mhm.
while we're reading the books, we'll go in and comment there, and then we have people a part of the book club and they can comment too. My comments were unhinged, and I was just
That's
dying.
funny.
But you know what? I wanna say, like, it's a mark of a good author to be able to write a book that doesn't just appeal to one
Yep,
demographic or one type
Mhm.
of love type or whatever.
yep,
That, not a lot of people know how to do that. And obviously it comes with side characters. That's why side characters are so important, guys. You think that they're just like throwaway characters, but they really truly help round and define the story. And I think that you built a world around 2 different characters, specifically letting us get to see Hades and Persephone and their interaction. It did help understand, why in the end they were they came to the conclusion that they did. And I was sometimes frustrated with Hades because 'cause I'm like, "Dude," which ended up being the ending, but, like, if someone tried to do this to you and Persephone, you would literally like, there would be no Earth. You
It's okay. Yeah, and with that, like with Hades and Persephone, like where Orpheus is standing there with the knife at her throat, and Hades is literally like trying to figure out what he's going to do. Like I
Mhm,
wanted that tension. I mean, in that chapter, Orpheus is saying, "Don't make me do this." Like he doesn't want to do it. He does not want to harm her, but he has in his mind he has no other choice. He's like, nothing else is working.
mhm.
Like she said it, but she said it too late, so I know she has feelings for me. Like, she said it of her own conviction and that kinda stuff, but, like, how else am I gonna do this? So, yeah, it's like a dirty trick, but it works. I mean, I mean, if I was in that position, somebody had my husband hostage like that, I'd be like, fine, whatever you want, just get the knife away
Oh,
from his throat, that kind of thing.
let me be so for real. And this I think it's in, like, my second book that I wrote. There's, like, a scene where someone has a knife to her fiance's neck, and the way that I would be unhinged, because I write my characters unhinged because
Oh,
some of them
same.
are like
Yeah,
me.
same.
The way that I would be unhinged, and I would Sailor Moon Cosmos, Super Saiyan 5 Goku, destroy these people. Sorry, I love anime. Um,
Honey, me too. Frieren is my favorite, let me tell you.
mm,
I don't watch any anime. Should I? Should I watch it?
it's
It depends.
it depends. The newer anime is not made for my generation, and I'm okay with that, right? Like, it doesn't have the same appeal to me. Older, like, Sailor Moon has always been one of my favorite just because if you watch Sailor Moon, she's just this loud, crazy, emotional, sensitive person, but everybody loves her because she loves really hard. And like that's a part of me. And so I've always like resonated with her. And I think that the original animes, like Sailor Moon was written, I can't remember what her name is who wrote it, but she wrote it because she was lonely and didn't have any friends. Go
I
ahead.
will tell you on this. Hades in the Hades and Persephone is the only thing. Okay, so the tale of like the rape of Persephone, okay? Like that part. Okay, so in Hades and Persephone, I'll just give you this little tidbit. In Hades and in the fall of Hades, I'm taking that, and in the myths it says that Hades did it. Well, in my book, it's not Hades. It's somebody else. So you're talking about your unhinged characters. So the one who does it, um, leaves her in front of the underworld because in the way I do it is no one can enter the underworld except for Hades and Thanatos, like through the vanishing thing that they do and all that. Okay, so he
Mm,
meets her at the beginning of or at the the doorway of the underworld to get her for when she comes down for the 6 months, and he finds her in front of the underworld after this person has done the deed and all that stuff. Literally lays her there broken and all that stuff. The way Hades gets unhinged, he tracks this person's down with Ares
Oh,
and
I'm excited.
looks at him,
Wait. Oh.
looks at him and he says, Thanatos will not be taken to the underworld. I will personally escort your soul. And that's,
I
yeah.
just had a bookgasm,
I
guys. I just
love
had a bookgasm.
it.
So
That is a
yes, I'm
brief book.
twisting that. So I'm gonna leave you on that. So I'm taking the rape of Persephone, and it is it's gonna be fade to black. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't like to go into
Mhm,
detail with that kind of stuff. So it is a fade to black. So you use your imagination. But what happens after that is Hades literally loses his shit
mhm,
and goes postal and is getting ready to have a major battle after he takes this person's soul to the underworld, and Zeus comes to collect it, and Zeus says, no, you can't do that, you will listen to the king of the king of the Mount Olympus, and he said no, and he was getting ready to like take him on. Like there's a huge battle that's going to happen because this person harmed his goddess.
Well,
So I'll leave you with
I can't that well, that is the perfect way to end this. So I love it because everybody needs to go read. Well, if you've been watching us and you read this book along with us, so go read
mhm.
Artemis, and then when Anneliese comes out with her third book, go pick that up as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Anneliese. I had a great time and a
thank
very
you, and thank
angry
you.
time through the Curse of Orpheus. How dare you?
Mhm.
It made me feel a lot of feelings. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell the viewers where to follow you on social media and where to buy your books?
Yeah, okay, and I want to say this before that. Thank you for inviting me here. Like seriously, this has been a treat. I've loved the banter, listening to you two. It's been great. I live for this. Okay, but yeah, and then definitely check out Kathleen's book. Blake, I will check out your books because I've read Kathleen's. I got to get her second one. But you can find my books, The Mythos of the Pantheon. There's 2 books out right now. You can find them on Amazon and Ingram Spark. And I should have a post on there where you can find them in other bookstores. But like Flame and Fable, Haven Booksellers, Oh, there's another one in Kentucky. There's a couple of them, and I can always do a post as well, but there's independent bookstores that are starting to get my books too, so definitely check them out.
Just
Well,
all
thank you
right.
so much for joining us,
Thank
Anneliese.
you!
Like before Anneliese goes, Anneliese released a spicy artwork scene on
Yeah.
Instagram, and I commented on it, and I said, "You're gonna do this right before my ovaries."
Dude, I lost it. I lost it. I laughed so hard. My 2-year-old was looking at me like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm like, "Kathleen, oh my god."
It's a spicy scene, and I was obsessed with it, and now I need that full artwork.
Oh, it's gonna come, don't worry. I will personally send it.
Hey,
All
when you
right.
come out with the Persephone and Hades one, we're gonna have you back on so that Blake can
Yes.
have her book.
Okay, well, and I will if you guys wanna be ARC readers, I can totally send you a copy with artwork.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
How? When? Where?
Sign us up.
Well,
Sign us up.
I'm only halfway through it, okay? So it's gonna I'm trying to get it done by the end of the year. If not, it might be the first of next year, but I am so trying to get it done. So I will send you guys our copies. I'll
Yes,
sign them and
sign us
everything.
up. Send us the books.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
All right. I
Send
will
us the
I will
books.
write you on my list so that way I remember who's gonna be an ARC reader.
Yay, awesome.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're very welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.